If you won $10 million, what are literally the worst ways you could spend that money? Logan Paul merch. Nope. This takes the cake. I gave a Logan Paul sweater to a homeless guy once. He told me to go FCK myself. Understandable response. Bet it all on black. Edit. To those saying there's a 47.4% chance of doubling your money. I'm saying you bet on black continuously. You bet on black over and over and over again. That's a 100% chance to lose all your money. And it's a quick way to do it. 10,000 Apple Pro stands. Beanie Babies. Hundreds of thousands of Beanie Babies. I have 3. 000 I'll sell you. My grandpa thought they'd all shoot up in value. You may want to Google the most valuable ones and look through the collection. There are a handful that are actually valuable. The royal blue elephant in particular because it's known as the one that started the fad. Spending it on the lottery and winning back like $50 lol. Years ago. I worked in a convenience store. One of my regulars had won $300. 000 on a scratcher. Afterward, he would hit several stores and buy several $100s in tickets. And then sit at Waffle House and scratch them all. My store was the last one on his route. As I was right next door to the said Waffle House. The waitresses said he never tipped. He blew through the whole thing in 1 year. And tried to bum money off of me for cigarettes. No thanks. Dude. Joining up with the Church of Scientology and getting my Thetan would be a pretty solid start. Edit. Oh hi Karen. OP said 10 million. This probably will barely cover the entrance fees. Nah. It approx cost like 300 grand to get to the absolute max and meet their alien grandmaster. Microtransactions in freemium mobile games. Gotta get past those Candy Crush levels. I've been stuck on a level for 6 years now. Should try playing it. Or else spend those $10 million. Should cover for at least 18 levels. Putting it into a high interest savings account in Australia. And watching it slowly become nothing due to interest rates dropping lower than inflation. Mayo, that's so the most depressing thing I've heard in the last 24 hours and it's not close. This could potentially be number 1. How about donating all $10 million to NAMBLA? Fire Festival VIP suites. Nah. FCK that. Organize Fire Festival II. I'm putting my hand up now as the one who will not be looking after securing the water for guests. For the right salary. I'll get the water. Shouldn't be too hard. There's a whole ocean of it right over there. Investing in Blockbuster in 2012. Hey seriously, can we talk about this? I'm super high and I just really miss going to Blockbuster and picking out movies to rent and grabbing popcorn and treats from the store. Our days were simpler back then. Spending it all on Xbox Live 1 year subscriptions. You'll probably only use $2,000 worth at most of that $10 mil you spent. Well, rounding Xbox Live subs to $60 a year. And dividing into $2. 000 gives us 33. 33, repeating. So, roughly 33 years of Xbox Live. And if you started gaming at about 15. Which is a reasonable estimate Imo. You're talking 47 years old at the time of death. That'd be a bit of bad news. Dying so young. But there is some good news. If you truly spent it all on live cards and they never expire, IDK if they do or not. You'd have 166. 666. Also repeating. Years of life subscription. Taking the average human lifespan off Google, 79 years. And dividing that means you'd be able to provide live for a total of 109 people with what's left over. Assuming you take one off for yourself. Roughly 108. But I'm done with math for now. Partying. With $10 million to spend partying. You're going to develop some fairly severe vices. Quite probably some expensive addictions. Then the big problem would hit when the money ran out and you could never reach those highs again. And spent the rest of your life regretting blowing all of that money that could have made you comfortable forever. I'm not saying don't party. But I am saying spending $10 million on partying would absolutely ruin your life unless you were actually earning enough to throw those sorts of events. Never ever give money to family. They will blow it all and be right back where they are. Not to be intrusive, but is this from experience? It's okay, you can be intrusive, I'm an open book. Yes, it is. Gave my mom $7 to fix a used car when I told her from the start if it gave problems just sell it. I was the kid that never said no because I felt bad and she would try and guilt trip me over it. I just felt bad she would work and end up with very bad pain in her feet and back from walking 10 hours a day. She never listened to me and the car ended up being totaled. So now she is taking the bus and walking 10 hours a day and complains to me that she is in pain. Ask Lindsay Lohan. I feel like she never had a chance. She was the sole support for her family at 11 and never seemed to have any solid parental figure in her life that wasn't a leech and using her for something. She's definitely had issues and made mistakes. But I give her a pass. She started with so many strikes against her not of her making. There was a dude who won something like £60 million and blew it all over a few years on cocaine and hooker parties. He was quoted as saying something like, "I spent most of my money on hookers and blow and the rest I wasted." Double quote. How do you spend £60 million on hookers and blow in a lifetime? Not to mention a few years? He must have shared the blow with people he didn't FCK. Like a noob. Should have just founded his own coca plantation instead. Hookers are also cheap unless he went for exclusively Western ones and paid extra for raw dog. Use it for cancer research, but instead of how to cure it, research how to get it in the fastest way possible and then use that way to get cancer and then have to pay hospital bills, but you've already spent all your money getting cancer, so you go into debt and your wife leaves you and takes the kids and you end up crying yourself to sleep every night while looking at a picture of your wife and kids and I miss you Karen, please come back. At first you live large and give money to all of your friends. You pay for lavish trips. Pay for their food. Take a female out that suddenly has interest in you. Life is great. Everyone calls you and says they love you. You continue to spend money and buy friends a car. Pay for tickets to sporting events. Then you wake up one day and you're broke. Still no education. No job. Nobody is calling you to hang out. You're sleeping until noon just thinking about how you blew all of the money and have nothing to show for it. Donate imperishable food and market commodities to several developing communities that don't have the infrastructure to permit sustainable intervention. Food cans and wrappers will not be properly disposed of due to the lack of sanitation services procedures, thereby disrupting the earth they are deposited in and causing environmental degradation. Any provided market commodity will undermine the exchange of locally sourced goods, mitigate the distribution of wealth, and topple the fragile market that previously existed. When the community must inevitably rely on agriculture on sustenance upon exhausting the donated food supply and disturbing the local exchange of goods, they will find themselves victim to catastrophic inflation and the consequences of environmental negligence. We can cause a lot of harm when we try to do good. Philanthropic colonialism isn't cool and has infrastructural, economic, environmental, cultural ramifications that no one can understand better than the community itself. Best to support and strengthen the local infrastructure than to import our own. Buy 100 of your friends and family a loaded BMW 750li or Audi A8 during December that they can't even afford to pay the income taxes on when the 15th of April rolls around. Not only have you given them something they can't afford to keep, but the hassle of being under a strict time limit to sell for significantly less than sticker price. Now they will be thoroughly irritated with you for not giving them the 100 grand outright. Congratulations. Your reputation is now permanently worse than it was before the 10 million. Read up on British girl Corley Rogers who won almost $1 million on the lottery at age 16 and blew the lot very quickly on designer clothes, 3 boob jobs and cocaine. She lost her baby because of cocaine abuse while pregnant. She got beaten up by another woman for boasting about how much money she had. And now she has trust issues because she has realized that people just wanted to be her friend for money. And now in her early 30s she looks a total state. She gave nothing to charity. 2 million is not enough to go spending like your JZ.